Happy Friday. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. And it's a happy Friday for Tennessee basketball. There was one piece of the puzzle missing with this roster that Rick Barnes has constructed. They found that piece of the puzzle. It is in place. It is complete. Chaz Lanier is a Tennessee volunteer. He made that official today. This recruitment's gone on for a little bit. We wondered where it would go, twist, turns. There was a point in time, would he even come back to college as he went to the G League Combine? Apparently the feedback was not, what he looked for. He did have a good plus-minus ratio at the G League, but I don't think he got the feedback that he wanted. So he took visits to BYU, Kentucky, Tennessee. Kentucky fans felt confident at some point. BYU, I had a very good BYU fan come on here to kind of tell about the process of what BYU's doing and that there is some money. They're trying to be competitive going to the Big 12 and such. But, the one consistent in this recruitment the entire time was the University of Tennessee. That's not taking anything from anyone else. He's from Nashville. He has a contact on staff, contacts with numerous former players around this program as well. He took visits last weekend. He went to BYU, went to Kentucky on Monday. He spent the night in Knoxville Monday night, visited Tennessee on Tuesday, and then left and went home. And by all accounts, it seemed to be pretty even going into the visits last weekend. But when they come out of it, it seemed everything I've read says Tennessee really knocked it out of the park, much like the Dalton Connect recruitment last year. Rick Barnes really took that recruitment over, laid out how much he meant to that program. I said Zakai Ziegler was a key part of it as well, meeting with him, and just the rest of it. Jemai Meshack was in there. That dude's a total VFL based on all he's done here as well. These guys really set the tone and sold Tennessee to him. And they sold that missing piece, because you look at what Tennessee's added. If we go back to it based on what they lost, what they've added. And I'm not counting Connect, Josiah, Jordan James, Vescovy. Those guys were lost due to graduation. Okay. They were leaving regardless. But then you had the departures of Jonas Adu, Tobe Awaka, Freddie Dillon, DJ Jefferson. I'm trying to think if I'm missing. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody else here. Maybe not. But then you had Darlington Stone Dubar comes in. He was rated the number 5 offensive efficient player in college basketball last year from Hofstra. You added Felix Okpara from Ohio State. That's your rim protector. He's your high percentage guy. He can block shots. He can rebound. He can do those things that I think Jonas Adu, he's not going to be the scorer that Jonas Adu was, but he's going to be more of that rim protector. And then you add a guy, I think this is such an underrated pickup, Igor Milicic Jr., 6'10". He can step out and hit the three. He can drive. He can block shots. He can do a little bit of everything. I think this is a really under the radar big pickup for Tennessee in terms of what they want to do at the 4. He can step out. He can stretch the defense. I love that pickup. And now the puzzle is complete. The puzzle is complete. You add Chaz Lanier. So here's a little bit about Chaz Lanier last year at North Florida, the old North Florida Ospreys. So in 23-24, he was rated the number 1 offensive efficient player in all of college basketball. 19.7 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, 1.8 assists. 51% field goal percentage, 44% from three-point range, 88% from the free throw line. The only negative 1.6 turnovers per game. That's part of it. A guy based on what he did. He played 33.3 minutes per game. He averaged about right at a steal per game as well. You're adding tailor-made. This is tailor-made for him. He's a 2-guard. Well, what position is there really not that for sure guy ready to go? You've got Cam Carr, but how ready is Cam Carr to go right now? I mean, there's still that growth. We know he's kind of like a kamikaze shooting. There's not a shot he's seen he hasn't liked. So I know we talked about last year in an interview after the game about having to dial it down a little bit. But I think your potential starting lineup, I don't know exactly how it goes, but I think you'll see some combination of 6 guys. It could be Ziegler to point, that's for sure. Okpara, Milicic, Dubar, Jemai Meshack, and now Chaz Lanier. Some combination of those 6 will be your starting lineup. Now, you factor in as well, you got Jordan Gainey, you have JP Estrella, you have Cade Phillips, of course, you have Cam Carr, who we talked about earlier. Tennessee, and then you add in Bishop Boswell. I don't know what the plan is for Bishop Boswell. He's going to be the only true freshman as of right now on that roster. Now, with things heating up in the summer, we've seen Rick Barnes find Zakai Ziegler and Tobe Awaka both in the summer before he found Ziegler at the Peach Jam, which will be coming up later this summer. And I can't remember if Awaka was Peach Jam or if it was just that connection to their AAU team, the New York Lightning. And I saw Tennessee's recruiting another guy off of that New York Lightning who's a combo guard for 2025 as well. So it'll be interesting to see if that connection pays off there as well. But Chaz Lanier's in the boat. What's it come down to for me? Number one, this is a team that's, I feel like, look at my bullet points on this, looking at Rick Barnes gets his guy. He held this spot for Chaz Lanier. They were not recruiting anyone else. That's why you've not heard of any other guys on it. They were holding this spot for Chaz Lanier. They were all in on Chaz Lanier. How much did NIL play on? I don't know. It had to play in some point. He's not coming to Tennessee just for his scholarship. I mean, we know that because BYU was offering pretty big money. The rumors were Kentucky's offering pretty big money as well. I don't know how much. I don't know who offered the most or any of that, and we probably never will know on that. But I think it's safe to say he's getting money to come to Knoxville. It's just the way it's going to be. Does this make Tennessee national title contenders? Yes. Yes, absolutely. I feel this is a national title team. You have got in that lineup, 3 of the 4 guys you've got can stretch the defense. They can play offense. You did not have 3 consistent offensive guys. I've not even talked about Zakai Ziegler yet, what he can do. He's going to be arguably, I don't even think it's arguable, he's going to be one of the best point guards in all of college basketball next season. That's not even arguable at this point. Jordan Gainey, does he take that next step? We saw flashes of it at times, and then we saw inconsistency at times. Carr, what can he add? JP Estrella, what step does he take here as well? I feel this is a much deeper team, and I feel unlike last year. If Dalton Connect was off, they had games where they picked him up. In the end, though, when they went out, it was Dalton Connect and really nobody else. They've got multiple guys this year or this coming season who are going to be able to step up and do their thing with it. Yes, this is national title team. Does this make them the favorites? No, it doesn't make them the favorites by any means, but it certainly makes them a very viable contender. Is this going to be Rick Barnes' best team at Tennessee? We don't know that yet. All right, we don't know. By everything and what they accomplished and everything, last year's team was Rick Barnes' best team at Tennessee. We can go back to the Grant Williams, Admiral Schofield teams. They were good. They got to the Sweet 16. The team last year won the SEC. They got to the Elite. I'm going to put that was Rick Barnes' best team at Tennessee, and a lot of that was due to Dalton Connect. Other guys contributed, don't get me wrong. Guys knew their role. They did what they needed to. This has the potential to be Rick Barnes' best team at Tennessee. Obviously, we won't know that till it's over with. And then the last thing, there's 2 spots left. I talked about that earlier. I feel that'll be more guys they may find later in the cycle. I don't know if they fill both, but I would not be surprised to see them try to recruit somebody and bring them in, a guy they can maybe develop a little bit along the way. We've seen how that's gone. It's gone both ways, obviously, but more times than not, that guy would be somebody come in. Is he patient enough to develop, or is he going to be impatient after a year and hit the road? I think that's a valid question. But Tennessee gets their guy, Chaz Lanier of all. It's a great day for Tennessee basketball. Rick Barnes continues to own this transfer portal. Rick Barnes continues to evolve as a head coach. We've saw it. People thought at first with NIL in the portal, he wouldn't be able to adapt. Oh, he's adapted. All right. You want to talk, is Rick Barnes ready to retire? If he's ready to retire, he wouldn't be adapting and evolving the way he is at a head coach at his age. This dude's still fully in it. I don't see any end in sight for Rick Barnes. And frankly, we don't need the end in sight for Rick Barnes. This guy's killing it right now. Love what he's doing. Thank you, Coach Barnes, for your work and your hard work and your continuing to evolve. This program is at the best position it's ever been in probably the program's entire history. I'm going to go that far with it. They're on the cusp of being a Final Four national title contender. They've got to take that next step. Hopefully last year they got that Elite Eight. They tasted it a little bit. Next step, getting to that first Final Four in school history, and then hopefully cutting those nets down at the end. My name's Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. I've had a lot of content this week. It's about to pick up on here. Somebody's about on summer break right here. So content is getting ready to amplify. I'm excited about it. This thing's going to build and it's going to take off quick. So thank you for your support so far. I hope you have an awesome Friday, an awesome weekend. Tonight, Tennessee, Mississippi State baseball scheduled to go off around 7:30. Who knows what happens with the game before it with South Carolina and Kentucky. Normally it's about 30 minutes or so after the completion of the first game. I do plan to go live, even if it's just for a few minutes tonight, right after that game. I hope to see you in there. But you guys have an awesome rest of your day. And last but most certainly not least, go Vols.